Okay, welcome everybody to another Thursday night Carnivore Mastermind. Look at this lovely panel. We have some faces that haven't been with us for a while, so it's always exciting. And tonight we're talking about reaching your potential and how nutrition plays a role in that, and how maybe perhaps nutrition has played out.
We're doing the Brady Bunch.
Whoever has not been here for a while.
Sorry, Nia.
I need to
was
pop everybody's
because he hasn't been here for a while.
Yeah. I need to pop up everybody's names here too. Somehow that gets switched off. But
we need two more, and it will be the Brady Bunch. I could be Alice.
That's right.
Yeah. You never know. We might get more people popping in.
You'd be a great Alice.
Yeah, we're talking about reaching your potential tonight and how nutrition plays a role in that. I'm a huge believer that nutrition is step one. If you want to make any type of positive change in your life, if you want to grow into something, if you want to branch out and do something new or learn something new or set a goal for yourself and reach for something bigger, your health has to be the foundation for that. And that's been my experience throughout my life. The healthier I've gotten, the more I've been able to do and, dream and think about what I want to do and how I want to change and how I want to grow. So that's kind of the theme for tonight. So we'll go around as usual, clockwise. And we'll I guess we kind of snake through when we have 3 rows, but so give us, introduce yourself, your channel, and give us your thoughts about what it means for you to reach your potential and how nutrition and carnivore has played a role in that. So we'll start with Robin.
Hey everybody, Robin Heron here, your carnivorous grandma. My channel is at Carnivorous Grandma, Grama. And the reason for that is because that's what my grandkids call me, is grandma. Oh man, this was a great topic tonight, Nia. I actually was thinking about this a little bit before we came on. And I thought of a few ways. The one thing that popped in my head was about being able to do hard things. And, this is so different, so counterintuitive to everything that we have been taught over the course of... Echo.
If you're not muted, will you please mute your mic? Bruce, please.
Working on it.
Good mute.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, being able to do this is really something, just getting into the mindset of basically changing everything. So, and changing the way you think about food, nutrition, eating has been really, really something. I'm more prepared, I think, than I ever have been. And I was on keto for quite some time. So I was kind of used to being the person in the room that was like, there was nothing there for me to eat because I was on keto for so long. But when you got to the point where, everything was a salad and that is technically supposed to be healthy, and you're like, but it's not, So that I'm just more prepared. I'm also more prepared to fast or not eat at these various events that I'm attending. So I attend a lot of church events and things like that. And so, I'm getting used to being like the odd person out, the person who is not doing the same thing as everybody else is doing. And being able to make my own choices, not allowing those pressures to cause me to give in to different things. Like you think about the holidays coming up. Somebody was asking me, well, you're not going to have any, as a matter of fact, it was one of my managers today. You're not going to have any pumpkin pie or pumpkin roll. And I'm like, no, I'm not, so just being able to make those choices and not having food control me is really a great thing. I wanted to mention that, the portion about from a potential perspective of, wanting to become a life coach. So I've always been kind of a little bit, I guess a weirdo. I call myself a weirdo, but the one who will try something new. But I never wanted to like be the person to teach it, and be the person to like go out there and say, this is what it is. And so, from a potential perspective, that is really one of my goals. And I think I never would have done that, or, wanted to become like a person who's in nutrition. I mean, I've been in an IT for 30 years, and doing project management for 30 years. And so for me to want to like take a drastic life goals change is really, really different. One other thing I want to mention is that I'm a lot less dogmatic, I think, about other people's choices and the choices they're making around the way they want to do their keto or their carnivore, their ketovore. I realize like how people are so harsh about it, and can be super, super dogmatic and make people feel a little bit hopeless. And I've had people come after me in my comments and say stuff that's just like, so rude. And I'm like, let's not be dogmatic. Everybody has to do things the way that works for them. So I'm finding myself being more sympathetic toward other people who have different eating choices than me, lately. I started out pretty dogmatic actually, but as I'm going along, I'm seeing that I guess you win more, what they say, you win more flies with honey than with vinegar. So, you want to kind of not be dogmatic about people's lifestyle choices. So that's something that I'm really, really feeling like has become a part of who I am and the way that I'm doing things these days. I have a whole list, Nia, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there and give somebody else a chance to talk about it. Thank you.
Thanks. No, that's awesome. And I agree. That's just as a quick side note. That's one thing that's happened to me maybe in the last couple months too. I just realized like, look, somebody eats a salad every 6 months, like who cares? You know what I mean? If it's working for you, it's working for you. So, yeah. All right. We'll go to Larry next.
All right. I'm Larry. Should I say, all right. Carnivore Soldier in the house. So Carnivore Soldier from Austin, Texas. Retired Army Chief Warrant Officer. Currently work in higher education in IT. I was drastically overweight and unwell, and found this way of eating, this lifestyle, and have corrected course. I'm almost 2 years in. I'll be 2 years in March. March 22nd will be my 2-year carniversary. I've gone from not being able to run at all for the last decade to running my first 5K last month and finishing 86 out of 250. And with my son, who finished 5th out of 250 because he's a wicked good athlete. But anyways, and I'm running another one, and we're running the Jingle Bell Run in Austin. Anyone wants to join us, we're going to be at the Domain. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, you talk about the choices people make, and you can pick you can pick your style of carnivore, right? Because carnivore, I guess John probably knows this, but the actual technical definition of carnivore is someone or an animal that eats 70% of its food from animal-based foods, fats and proteins. That is actually technical definition of a carnivore, I believe. Now, as a human, I find that if I eat more and more animal and fat-based foods, I'm healthier, right? And if some people want to introduce certain things, they can. But, when we talk about dogma, yes, you don't want to be like the church, like cracking down, on the people learning, but you do have to tell them the truth. And the truth is that you can't just like eat fruit and all the time and eat honey and drink milk and expect the same results, right, in your healing and your weight loss or whatever you're going for. For me, it was everything. It was healing and weight loss. I lost 50 pounds, put muscle on. I'm back in the gym like I was. And, the choices you make will impact the results you get and the speed at which you get them. And the other thing is, don't compare yourself to other people who do this, because my body and my experience is completely different than Nia's and Robin's and John's. I mean, based on my age, based on my history, based on my injuries, based on all the things I've done in the past, my track record of eating Doritos, my track record of doing all these, linoleic acid. This is what the problem is with these seed oils. It has a half-life of 650 days. So I don't even have it's still in my adipose tissue. The linoleic acid is heavily in my adipose tissue because I've been eating a standard American diet, which is ridiculous amounts of linoleic acid ever since the 80s, and they went to a low-fat diet. So if you're eating a lot of seed oils, which is in every processed food out there, every chip, every salad dressing that you ate that thought was healthy, everything all the bread, all these things have seed oils in them, and it's building up linoleic acid with a 650-day half-life, which means that it takes 650 days when you have that gram of linoleic acid or that seed oil come in, 650 days for half of that gram to leave your body. So that means it's a 5-year process when you stop. If you continue to keep adding, it's not stopped, right? You have to stop. And this is one of the things I'm very hopeful about, that our government's going to get right with RFK, because RFK is on board. I don't know if you guys saw his speech, but that guy understands it, and hopefully he's on board, and hopefully he's going to be able to turn around some laws and fix some things in the FDA and get rid of these, because you go to other countries, it's not as present, if anywhere, as it is here. This is the worst place to be to eat, unfortunately, and our kids and our families are suffering because of it. So, when I talk to people about doing carnivore, the first thing I say is, hey, cut out all seed oils, cut out sugar. If you do those two things, man, that's 78%. You're almost there, man. Almost. Because once you realize that doing that means no processed food, now you're on whole foods. Now I don't care if you eat cauliflower every now and then. Whatever, that's your thing. Go ahead, put butter on it. Butter and salt. If that's what you want to do, I'm good. If you want to do a salad with just lettuce and then throw some buttermilk ranch like my mom used to make, which I'm starting to make now for my son because my son likes salad, so I make buttermilk ranch. And I just put real buttermilk on his, with sour cream on his as a dressing. So he's eating real animal fats again, right? And I think the choices we make, every little choice will add up to your result that you want to get. So yeah, that's my insight, and I don't want to take up all the time, so I'm going to let the next person go.
Well, I think that next person would be me. And my name is Christy. My channel is Meeting Wellness. And I would like to say, Larry, we missed you and welcome back. It's great to hear things from that carnivore soldier perspective. So just had to say that. So I started carnivore in June of 2023. So I'm coming up, I guess, on my 1.5 years now. And I like how Nia said it's like the diet is sort of the beginning of everything else in terms of potential, because that's kind of how I feel about my experience. So I knew diets all my life as like, just cut the calories. I didn't know about the quality of food or anything. It was just about, let's just lose that weight. And I became more and more unhealthy, but kind of slowly. And so I didn't realize how unhealthy I was. And then I went carnivore, and it was like, okay, wait, now I have energy to do stuff. What is this? In my 40s? That's not supposed to happen. I'm supposed to just be getting tired now and, sitting in my chair. And I stopped feeling that way. And I stopped being scared to go around other people and have full of social anxiety and all of that. And then I started noticing at work, I'm a teacher like John. So I know John can attest to this. We public school teachers, they demand more and more out of us and more requirements without giving us any more resources or any more time to do those things. We're just supposed to like magically make this stuff appear, I guess. And so, many things can be sprung on us. For example, last night after we were done working, we get this email that wasn't even meant for us, right? It was meant for the parents, but we get this copy of it, and it says that we'll be having a lockdown drill tomorrow. Well, we teachers knew nothing about said lockdown drill, nor were we told what time the lockdown drill would be. or anything of that nature. And so I made the joke that it's probably at 10 a.m. since all the drills are at 10 a.m. And that's the only time anything can ever happen, I guess. But so yeah, it turns out, I think at about 8:21 this morning, we got an email stating that the drill would occur at 10 a.m. And by the way, here's the procedures for the lockdown drill that you have to follow, which included making several adjustments to our classroom environment, which they gave us no materials to do, by the way. Like I was supposed to cover a window, but I had nothing to cover it with. And I'm in my classroom. At 8:21, I'm teaching students. Like, what am I supposed to do? Make a window cover appear out of, a magic lamp, I guess. I don't know. But you can see I'm laughing and kind of making light of it because I'm like, whatever, I'm going to cover the window as best I can. Can I tell you, the other teachers, the topic of lunch conversation was a lot of stress, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment over this drill. And I just kind of, yes, it's I don't agree with it. I don't like it. But I'm not feeling anger, resentment, or stress over it. I'm like, I'm going to cover my windows best as I can. And if I have to break all the fire codes by covering it with paper, I guess the fire marshal's not visiting me today. So I'm not going to worry about that. John's laughing because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, when these things come up, and trust me when I tell you, they come up on a daily basis. This is not some special thing that happened today. And there were several more that I won't bore you with, that happened just today. I'm just able to handle them, kind of shrug them off, and go on to be the best teacher I can for my students. I've started organizing extra activities for them again that are, awesome learning opportunities, but that are not necessarily within our curriculum. So they take a lot of work to do. And so, but I have the energy to do that, right? And that requires extra time and effort on my part. And I had kind of lost the, I guess, whatever that thing is that kind of gets you up and gets you moving, to get that kind of extra stuff that's not really required of you. I've been able to do a lot more of that. And since Larry talked about his son a little bit, I'll talk about mine. I noticed the same things happening in my son. So he's carnivore since February, and he gets up and does things that he never would have done. And my most recent video that I made was about his improvements socially. So I would say before being carnivore, he might do something once a year. I'm not kidding, like with a friend. In October, he did 3 things, and I made that quick video on his social improvements. And then since then, he's been invited and has done like 2 more things. Like, so he's in the school band, and after football season, the band schedule kind of switches and you go into competition mode and stuff. And last year, the band teacher that was very communicative with the parents left, and a new band teacher came who didn't really say much. And my son told me nothing. So after football season, he literally did not do one thing. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I know they're probably marching in a Christmas parade, doing competitions, like all this stuff's happening, but I don't know when they are. So I just let that go. Well, this year he's like, Mom, we have a band competition. I need to have this. I need to be at the school at this time, and we're coming home at this time. Can you please pack me some food? And so he did that. And yeah, he's just, it's like this spark, like I said, to do these other things that aren't necessarily required. Like, nothing bad's going to happen to him if he doesn't go to the band competition, but he's missing out on that opportunity, and he's letting his bandmates down because if he's not there, there's no bass drum, which kind of stinks, right? And so, I noticed the same thing in him, and it's not like he feels some kind of sense of obligation or something like I might as a teacher, as part of my job, that I've got to do this stuff, right? It's just these things are coming up in his life, and he remembers about them and has the energy to do them, to tell me about them, and to organize it and to get himself there. So those are some ways that myself and my family have really seen our potential increase after being carnivore. And it was like the diet was the start of it, but definitely not the end of it, for sure. How about you, Papa Carnivore?
There we go. Before I start, I wanted to find out why Robin's daughter was invited today, because Robin, you look like your daughter. You look so young. I don't know what happened to you, but I honestly didn't know who you were, because your face looks so thin and so pretty, and you look so young. I didn't know who you were, and I've seen you before. So anyway, I think you've reached your potential, or you're getting darn close.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing. So I would just like to say, I want to concur with what you guys were saying earlier, that it starts with diet. It does change with starting with changing your diet, because that's where all the energy, once you get all that energy and you start feeling better, that's when I started with my walking routine. I just had to walk. I had to do something because the energy, this excess energy, I know you all know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, you're like jumping out of your skin, and you just can't. You have to exercise or do something. And for me, it's walking. So every morning, I take my little doggy Jersey out, for a walk, and we walk up and down the intercoastal here in Florida, and she'll do one lap all the way down and back, and I'll take her, put her back inside, and then I do another like 4 or 5 all the way up and backs. And so I just think that it all starts with the diet, which gives you the energy, which just gives you this just impetus that you got to move. And with that movement, you lose more weight, right? And so then it's just like this. It's not a vicious cycle. It's a great cycle of improvement and potential. And you just keep going up and up and up. You know what I mean? And it just keeps getting better and better. Now, I just hit November 1st. I hit a milestone, 19 months carniversary for me. I started February 1st of 2023. And it's just been amazing. Now, the new thing, it's not really that new now. I guess it's been about a year. Is there are palm trees along the intercoastal. Well, guess what I do to the palm trees? I hug those trees, and that's my grounding. And then now what I'll do is I'll also just sit down on the grass in my shorts, and just the grass and everything. I'm grounding. I'm sitting on the ground, So I'll do that for a while, and just put my hands flat on the ground. So I'm always looking to just do a little bit more to reach that potential and just feel as good as I possibly can. I've also been really tightening down on the carnivore diet and getting stricter and stricter. Do you know what I mean? And it makes me feel better. So I guess that's really all I wanted to add.
All right, Rick.
Yep, I guess it's my turn. And as you can see, my little friend over here is nice and relaxed. So he was biting me earlier, but now he's all friendly. He's just fell asleep. But as you know, I'm sure everybody knows me. You know that I started Carnivore in 1983, and I did it not to try to improve performance, but I guess in a roundabout way, I did it to get taller. As you know, I was just going to have a heart attack, whatever happened. But in all the life that I've had, I have to admit, it was only because of knowing people like you, all of you, that I've been able to see that the carnivore diet is actually something beneficial, because for me, it was a joke, always just making a big laugh. I'm going to eat all this meat and I'm going to have a heart attack and that'll be the end of that. But, when you talk about having, let's say, socializing, or maybe you're working with other people, I actually have to do a team event on this weekend, and I'll have to, I'll be indoors and I'll have to eat lunch with people that I know. And I'll show you what I use. This is one of my lunch containers. This is a portable one. This is not something you can cook on the engine with because it has a plastic lid, but it's sealed with silicone. So if it tips over, it won't leak all over the place. So what I'll do, I'll put some generally ground beef cooked in water, and I let it cook down. It's all full of fat. It's put in the refrigerator. And then I'll take this along with some cold water that I have. I have an old time thermos bottle that's glass, one of those that if you drop it, it breaks, and it's metal on the outside, and I use that. So, and it's never an issue. These are people that I've worked with, these are people that I know, and they'll eat whatever. A lot of times they'll pack a sandwich, or they'll have, they have the chips. I know when Larry was talking about Doritos, a lot of people seem to like those horrible things. They just look nasty, they smell bad, and they make your fingers turn weird colors. But they are popular. And for the people that are a little more health conscious, they have the organic tortilla chips and they have the veggie crisps and all that stuff. Okay, fine. But, nobody ever offers me that stuff. And if they do, I usually make quacking noises and I'll laugh about it because I call it duck food. And I've had people actually tell me, I know you don't want any duck food, but, sometimes they'll have an orange or they'll have, maybe some other local fruit. I've had them with a green banana or something like that. And, I generally won't eat fruit, but I've had times where I'll eat that. Oh, you want an orange? Yeah, I'll eat an orange. It doesn't really do anything to me. When you've been carnivore as long as I have, you can eat the fruit. It doesn't bother you. I mean, you don't want to end up like Paul Saladino that's gorging on honey and all kinds of sweet fruit because that's not good for you. And for me, it would make me sick. If I ate as much fruit as he did, I'd probably throw up or get diarrhea. But again, I don't push the carnivore diet. I never have. It was never an issue. I haven't even been on YouTube for about a couple of years when I started to see how everybody else was doing. And I go, wow, this is actually something that could benefit others. And I get frustrated from time to time because I do want to tell people about my diet, but nobody wants to really hear about that. It's very rare that somebody will ask me a question. Usually it's somebody that I haven't seen for a really long time. In fact, I just met somebody when I was at the neighborhood yard sale I hadn't seen for 20 years. He recognized me immediately, but I didn't know who he was. So I had to think about it. And it wasn't until after the yard sale and like the next day that I remembered who it was and what he used to look like. And we're about the same age. So, and of course, this is somebody else that eats a lot of snacks, put on a lot of weight, looks totally different. And, I think of it this way. I think of it like if you're going to put up a building, you want to have the best materials. But even if you have the best materials, it won't do you any good if you don't know how to put it together. And you have to have the right tools. So eating the carnivore diet, that's like having the right materials, but then you have to have the right skills to do it. You have to train your body. You have to get enough sleep. You have to reduce your stress. And then you have to learn about it more. That's like having tools. So you might want to change what meat you're eating. You might want to eat more of the natural grass-fed stuff, or you might want to be like me and just go and hunt something from the neighborhood, a tasty duck or iguana or whatever else you happen to find. But really, when it comes down to it, if you're thriving, and I have a couple of vegan friends, and I tell them, okay, if you think you're doing good on the vegan diet, that's fine. I give them fruits and vegetables from my yard. I don't feel guilty about it. And this is what I tell everybody I know. I said, look, if you want to improve your diet, you don't have to go on the carnivore diet. You don't even have to really go on the keto diet at first. All you got to do is get rid of the processed foods, get rid of the vegetable oils, get rid of anything that comes in a box or bag that has an ingredients list. If you can do that, you're going to improve. And then, once you do that and you get used to eating real food, maybe cooking on your own, avoiding that drive-through, then you can say, well, let me cut down on the carbohydrates. Maybe I'll eat more meat. You can make those adjustments. And it's the same thing. You may not have the best materials, but you could still build a halfway decent building if you know what you're doing. So again, I'm not strict. You don't see me out there telling everybody that you're eating duck food and you're a pile of crap. No. I mean, if they offer me the duck food, I'll make quacking noises and I'll laugh about it. But if they want to eat the duck food, that just means more meat for me, and I'm happy with that.
All right, we'll go down to Wayne next.
Hello, hello, hello. Wayne Walker down here in South Texas. I have a podcast, Hypno Lions Roar, and discuss, like many of you, the carnivore diet and hypnosis and how they interact with each other. My wife and I are in the process, or actually I'm in the process of bringing my wife onto the podcast and rebranding the podcast to Better is Always Possible is the name of the podcast. A carnivore diet for me has been literally a godsend. It was something my wife pushed me into, and about a year and 4 months ago. And in that year and 4 months, I've dropped over 90 pounds. Most of it in the first 7 months. And it has been literally a godsend. And unlike many of you, I tell everybody. I you know, if I'm having a conversation with them, you can guarantee that I'm going to bring up the carnivore diet at some point during that conversation. I went to my cardiologist last week, and she and I got into we got into a shoving match, I guess you could say. She wanted to put me on statins, and my cholesterol is normal, I guess you could say, even with the carnivore diet. And I asked her, I said, why are you wanting to put me on? I said, what are statins for? She goes, well, it's to bring your cholesterol in control. I said, have you looked at any of my blood tests? This is at the VA. And I said, you need to look at my blood test. And she went back for a year and a half, and my cholesterol was neither really high or out of control. But yet they had prescribed statins. And I told her, I said, I'm not taking them. She goes, well, that's what I'm prescribing. I said, I don't care what you're prescribing, I'm not taking them. Just not going to happen. And then she went through a test. There was a test called the CSC something. It's something with the calcium score of the artery or whatever. Had that done in 2020, and it was moderate. And I said, well, I think it's time we do another one, just to kind of get a baseline, see what's going on. She goes, no, you don't have to do that. And she said, well, I said, well, I'd kind of like to do it. I'd like to see where I'm at. And she sat there and told me, she said, it's not going to change my diagnosis. And I said, I don't care. I said, I'd like that test. And we went back and forth, and finally I said, look, I said, you're either going to prescribe the test for me to take, or I'm going to walk out of here. I'm going to go to the manager of the VA. I'm going to tell them about you, and then I'm going to ask for somebody else. So begrudgingly, she scheduled it. And I had a telehealth appointment with my general practitioner yesterday. He gave me the results of it, and it was still moderate. But you got to take control of your own health with these doctors. They think that just because they have a white coat on and doctor in front of their name that they know everything, and they don't. They literally don't. So I guess I would say be bold and go forward, and have fun with it.
Yeah, hey, Wayne, I'd just like to say that, especially with the VA, because all they know is the standard of care.
Right.
It's federal, so there's no way to get around it. Same thing as me.
Well, the interesting thing is when I told her, she was talking about cholesterol, I said, you know what? I said, even if my cholesterol was high, I don't care. I said, because the studies show that cholesterol is not a precursor to heart disease or any heart problems. And at that point, she rolled her eyes. Literally rolled her eyes at me. And I said, you can roll them all you want to. I said, but unless you can show me a study, I said, I can show you one or two or three. Can you show me one that shows that proves it? And I know she can't. So anyway, I may still ask for a new doctor. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
I think I would, Wayne.
So, oh well. It is what it
She works
is.
for you. That's what they have to remember, is that they work for you.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't
Yeah. And that's what I told her. I said, look, you serve me. I'm in charge here. You're not in charge here. So schedule the test. And she did, and I had the test. So it was, but
Hey, Wayne, did you ever see the TV show Seinfeld?
I did.
And there's a soup Nazi. No soup for you.
Oh, no soup for you. Yeah, the no soup Nazi. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's my story. So
Awesome. All right, Bruce.
Got me a little nervous here. I'm used to just sitting here and making snide comments in the chat on everybody else's channel. So now I'm here with you guys. Please bear with me. I've been I'm Bruce Keene. Yes, my name is not pronounced the way it's spelled. It's I'm living in Willis, Texas, which is a small town about an hour north of Houston. So I guess Wayne, I guess we're neighbors, right? But I'm my wife, about a little over 2 years ago, my wife introduced me to Michaela Peterson, and I had done keto for about 6 months, lost about 40 pounds. And then I started slow. Then when I came off the keto, I slowly started getting it back, and I was up at about 190, and which was about 50 pounds more than what I really should have been. And I started exploring the idea of the carnivore diet. Watched Michaela Peterson and Dr. Barry and a few other folks, and then decided, well, it sounds pretty cool. I'd give it a try. The weight was really one of my only big concerns. I mean, I snored like a freight train, according to my wife. But so I started having. So I started carnivore January 1st, 2023, and then I almost immediately started noticing the snoring was gone. And a few little kind of minor irritants that I had since I was a kid, oral issues, and athlete's foot, I guess. Those just went away just pretty quickly, and then I lost more weight than I had on keto, and I was starting to get a little worried that I was losing too much weight, but then my body stabilized. So I'm right at 140, and I'll go 5 pounds on either side of that, but and my wife kind of complains that I'm too skinny, but hey, she's a Cajun girl, so she's going to be a little favoring a little bit heavier weight. But I do share with people. Of course, I'm out in the community a lot, and I'm Larry and Robin. I'm kind of in a IT adjunct type business. I'm telecom, which is kind of, I guess, y'all's redheaded stepchild, I guess. But I'm so I'm out in the community a lot, and I get people who kind of notice that I'm not eating everything that they serve, just the meat, and it brings up great conversation about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. Part of my reason was I was hoping to lower my cholesterol. I was way wrong with that. It actually shot way up to the point where my doctor was saying he has never seen a cholesterol level that high, and he's really concerned about it. We did a CAC scan, and it was zero. I'm no risk of a heart attack. So I figured I'd keep this going and see what happens. He's still concerned about non-calcified plaque, which a CAC score isn't going to show. But I'm not really all that worried about it. But he wanted me on the Atkins diet to try to raise to lower my cholesterol, and it did exactly the opposite. So he and I are still fighting about the whole statins thing, but I'm holding my ground on that. So I don't know. I guess was there anything else that I needed to say, or I'm a little nervous. Like I said, I'm used to saying snide comments on in chat. And
Hey Bruce, you know what I tell my doctor because he prescribed
What's that?
he prescribed me a statin too. I don't know, I'm at 300 or something. I said,
Yeah.
man, I said, it's funny. You're trying to lower my cholesterol. I'm doing everything I possibly can to raise my cholesterol.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like he thought, I think he thought I was joking, and he started laughing. I said, no, I'm serious. I said, I've seen studies where people with lower cholesterol, actually the all-cause mortality is higher than people with higher cholesterol.
Yep.
And so, that's
All
pretty
kinds of stuff.
logical. All I'm trying to do is live longer. So I'm doing
Yeah.
everything, kind of like Rick says, he's trying to give himself a heart attack, and he's joking around. But what Rick's really trying to say is he's trying to do everything he can to raise his cholesterol levels. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you haven't seen that LDL Masterclass video by Dr. Diamond and Dr. Baker, it's a discussion between the two of them.
Yeah.
Google that one on YouTube, or look it up on YouTube. It's called LDL Masterclass, and it's got Dr. Diamond and Dr. Baker. And watch that. That'll settle it for you and give you some ammo to talk to your doctor about. You can, in fact, you can share his study that'll actually shut him down.
It's still a little bit scary. I'm going to write this down. LDL Masterclass.
Yep, Dr. Diamond and Dr. Barry. Not Barry.
I've seen them both. I've watched Dr. Barry interview Dr. Diamond.
I'm sorry, it's not Dr. Barry.
Oh, sorry.
I just want to say one thing to Wayne.
Dr. Baker.
Baker. Okay.
Wayne, I just wanted to say one last thing. Is that I didn't argue with my doctor about not taking the statin. I allow him to give me the prescription. I say thank you, and then I just don't take it.
Right.
And then I'm not going back for another year because what do I need to go to the doctor for? So it's not worth the argument. They're never going to listen to me. They're not going to change their mind. They have to do what they've got to do. My doctor is a member of a big practice, and he's got to do it. I know what he's got to do. So I just go, okay, thank you, and then right in the garbage can.
Right.
Yeah. I think I was given statins one time from a doctor 10 years ago, and I went and I filled it. I stuck it in a drawer, and as far as I know, it's still in there. But it's. There's part of me though that's still a little bit nervous. I mean, there's all this, social information, and all these doctors. You got doctors on one side saying it's very healthy for you, and then you got doctors on the other side that are saying it's not healthy for you to have that high of cholesterol. My cholesterol is my total cholesterol is over in the 600s. And LDL is in like 400s. So it's
like you're a lean mass hyperresponder. So it sounds like
I think so too.
Yeah.
I didn't start very, very heavy.
And listen, the thing Dr. Diamond says is there's no upper level of cholesterol that is hazardous to your health. None. There is no upper level to be concerned with, and he scientifically lays it out. So go check that video out for sure.
I definitely will. Thanks, Larry.
All right, let's get to John here.
Right. I had to pop off a while ago because my sound went out, and that took me out of the middle. Put me last. I'm John Laspina. I'm the carnivore teacher on YouTube. I've been carnivore coming up on 2 years next month, but I was ketovore for 3 years before that. And I did ketogenic the first year. So I'm going on 6 years total low carb. And I give this list over and over again. I'm not going to go in detail, but my lower back, my emotional health, my AFib, my skin cleared up. Of course, I lost weight. So many amazing benefits. The number one in that list for me is mental health. I have never felt happier and healthier in my entire life. No matter what the weight is or anything else, the emotional health is just 100%, just constantly level or up because I'm nourishing my brain with ketones and omega-3 fatty acids. I try to make sure I'm getting a good dose of omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, so I get more threes. Speaking about cholesterol, think about it this way. If you want to lower your LDL cholesterol, I could tell you how to do it. Drink a lot of seed oils, eat a lot of Oreo cookies, eat a lot of sugar and carbohydrates and seed oils, and you will lower your cholesterol. Now, what does that tell you? When we eat the crap, our cholesterol goes down. When we eat healthily, animal fats, protein, omega-3 and 6 fatty acids, vitamins and minerals, our cholesterol goes up. And there is a lean mass hyperresponder thing out there that people who are lean, a lot of people fall into this group and their cholesterol really skyrockets, like Bruce. And every message out there that has been out there for decades tells you high cholesterol is bad. Saturated fat is bad for you. You're going to get a heart attack. We keep hearing it and people are afraid. And it's repeated so many times in so many places, embedded in commercials. Eat this cereal, it's heart healthy, blah, blah, blah. That, you hear it over and over again. It's ingrained. So even when we tell the truth and we watch YouTube videos with Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Baker, and all of us, we can hear the truth, but it's hard to break through all those lies and the echoes of the lies that have been there for years. So stay with the truth, do your own research, and listen to the doctors who know what they're talking about, the ones that we mentioned, and you kind of go by your gut instinct. How are you feeling when you eat this proper diet? I know I feel so amazingly well. My cholesterol is almost 300. So it's up there too. And it's making my bile, it's making my vitamin D, it's making my testosterone, it's coating the myelin sheaths around my nerve endings. It's doing all these wonderful things. It's the structure of every single cell in my body. Cholesterol makes up a lot of my brain. I don't want to lower it. These people are insane. We want to keep it nice and healthy. And if you want to go as far and say, I want to raise it, you raise it by not eating carbs and sugar, exercising, making sure that you are eating a healthy diet. On my channel, I talk about all of this. I talk about just everything, not just about the carnivore diet, because I try to meet people where they currently are with my videos and my talks. Some people are starting from where I was, the standard American diet of fast food, ultra processed food. I ate everything in that rainbow and more. And I had addictions to sugar, big time. And other people are there now. So when I just tell them my knowledge that I have presently, they're lost and they're probably going to be pushed away from me. So I try to be an inspiration. They see I've changed, they see I've grown. I wait till they ask questions. And then I'm excited. I can share with them just what they need to hear in the moment, because you give them too much and they're overwhelmed. They also might think you're crazy because we're saying all the things that are opposite of what they believe about cholesterol and about saturated fats and all that. So our topic today is the potential starts with nutrition. How are we reaching our potential? And we reach our potential by eating this proper human diet, and it allows us to be as optimized as we were meant to be, as God and nature meant us to be as human beings, because we're eating species-specific human food, and then we reach that potential. I'm going on, as I said, 6 years, and I feel like I'm reaching that potential every day more and more, and I just feel it. My gut tells me I'm on the right track. No matter what the number says, and everybody says about the number, science, we have to grow with the science. The science changes and we have to learn and change with it. Last night we were talking about this as well. And somebody, I think I brought it up, saying, the science of about what, back in the 1950s, here, smoke these cigarettes, the doctor would say. These are the ones I smoke. I recommend them. They're healthy for your lungs. It's good to smoke, right? Go back to the 1910s and 20s and there was morphine and heroin you could buy. And we didn't know they were addictive back then. So the science is changing. We're learning, we're growing. These doctors that we listen to, that we recommend, Dr. Chafee, which is the plant-free MD, Dr. Ken Berry and his wife, Nisha, Dr. Sean Baker, his company, Rivero, and so many others, they're speaking the truth. And you can find that research and learn. Anybody who's listening to this, the more you stay with the community and you stay with people who are teaching you the proper way, you become comfortable and confident in your belief system in what you're eating. And then you can feel comfortable and confident in sharing that with other people. So I didn't plan for this talk to go in that direction, but that's where it went. So this was supposed to be just an intro, right, Nia? We all did longer than an intro. Sorry about that.
No, that's all good. And when we have this many people, it's hard to give everybody lots of time. But since we are getting kind of close to the hour, I thought maybe we'd just go through, give everybody a chance once again, and maybe throw out like a goal that you have or something that maybe you have achieved that you haven't mentioned yet, that maybe you would have like never thought you could do. I know, Robin, you kind of started out with that, and I thought that was really cool. And I thought of one for myself, and I'll go last so that everybody can have a chance. But yeah, like what's one thing that maybe before you started this, you thought I could never do that, or that could never even be on the table for me. And now you're either looking at doing it or you have done it, something like that. Does everybody have one of those? Yeah. Okay. We want to go through the snake again, or we want to just throw them out there? Okay. We'll start with Robin then.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, I did talk about it at the beginning. My goal is to become a certified life coach, health and nutrition coach. And I am vetting different certifications that I would like to pursue in order to do that. It's not something that I ever thought I would want to do. So yeah, that will be my goal. And hopefully I'll be able to do that within the next year or so.
All right. I already talked about my running, which was something I never thought I'd be able to do again because it was incomprehensible to me that I could heal something that had been injured in the military for a decade. But the reality of this diet is not only does it do that, but it changes your whole mental attitude. Like I was before this diet, before I started this way of eating, I was on a glide slope down where I thought, well, if I can just hang on to my health long enough, I might make it till I'm 80. And I might maybe 70s or 80s, and I might be able to see my son graduate college and get married or something. Now, and I had no real plans. I was just like gliding down, like I'm just going to hold on. I hope I don't get cancer, and I hope I don't get Alzheimer's. That's where I was at. I was in fear. It was a lot of fear. And when I start forgetting things, or every time I went for an endoscope or something, I figured this is it. They're going to tell me I have cancer. Now I don't fear those things anymore because I know they're diet related 100% because I've done the research. And now I am planning for things in life that I never planned before. Like, more trips to Europe, more trips, I'm doing more things. I'm active. It's changed every aspect of my life. I am aging in reverse. And that's all I'll end with that.
Okay, well, I just had a birthday last month, and this is my last year in my 40s. So my next birthday, I'll be turning 50. And my goal is that my 50s are going to be better than my 40s and my 30s. I think it's going to happen very similar to what Larry was saying. So I will be retiring from teaching at some point in my 50s. And everybody says this: don't retire at that age because people retire and then they die. And I'm like, not me, man. When I retire from teaching, I'm going to have all the time to do all the things. And I'm super excited about it. And I'll say one more thing. I had some videos to film for my channel, and I legit set up 2 stations in my kitchen. I filmed 2 videos like at the same time, which was pretty cool that my brain could do that. I had like my tasty air fryer going over here and my Instant Pot going over here, making my bone broth. And I was like going back and forth and filming the different segments for each section. It was pretty cool. Robin's like, I know. She's like, that's pretty cool. So I thought that was pretty cool. And that's something that I haven't shared yet. So there you go. How about you, Papa Carnivore?
Well, I originally started this thing to try and reverse my diabetes. So I was able to reverse my diabetes. But what I didn't realize was going to happen is that all these other things were going to happen. But the big ones were my high blood pressure is gone as well. And it also reversed my bipolar depression and anxiety and ADHD is gone. And this is something I've struggled with for decades. I mean, like Kerry from Homestead How, his big bucket of medicines. Well, I had a bucket like that, and the acid reflux and the omeprazole and all the, I mean, it goes on and on and on, all the stuff I was on. That literally all I take is some vitamin D, a little iodine, some magnesium citrate. So I didn't, and the last thing I forgot to mention, I never thought I'd lose 101 pounds. I never thought that I would be at my same weight. I'm at 62, that when I was 19, that's the last time I was under 200 pounds. And, I'm now 199. I was 300 pounds and morbidly obese with a BMI almost 40. And now I'm 25, BMI of 25. So, these are all the things that are possible, and just the happiness. It's just incredible. So that's, what I would say.
Well, as you know, I'm the carnivore quack. I'm not the one that's out there telling everybody about all the health conditions that I've cured and that I've lost weight and that I've gotten rid of pains and all that, because I haven't had any of that. I'm basically the same height and weight that I was at age 25. My goals are actually pretty simple. I spent 10 years of my life taking care of my parents. So what I want to do, I want to get some type of new business income stream or whatever else going, so I don't have to work all the time physically, although I'll still work physically on my own. And really, I like to come onto these lives just to show people that even if you're afraid, what could carnivore do to you long term? Is it going to make you have a heart attack? Is it going to make you sick? What is the worst thing that can happen? Well, the worst thing that can happen is that you end up a tall, skinny quack like me. And that's really not a bad life. I actually enjoy it.
Okay, something that I never thought I would do that I am doing now, that I've started here in the last, I don't know, couple of weeks, is 1 meal a day. One meal a day. I eat about 2:30 and that's it. And have no desire to have dinner, or it's just doesn't, it's kind of weird. But that's it. And the other thing, my goal is to do a 5-day fast. I've done a 3-day. I want to do a 5-day. So there you go.
I guess my goal is to actually try to get some YouTube carnivore YouTube content out there. And started a couple of weeks ago. I started making doing a video for making tallow, and first run of video went great, but then the next day when I was rendering the tallow, I'd forgotten to plug the microphone in, and so you got all this video of me straining out the fat, and no sound. So okay,
Voiceover, Bruce.
I can do that, but yeah,
Yeah, don't waste it. Don't waste it.
Don't waste it.
Don't waste it. I've been a writer, so I can I can handle just throwing away stuff and starting over. That happens a lot as a writer. So that's one goal, and so maybe do a little bit of cooking. I'll certainly never be on the order of Chris DeLau, but I can probably give some people a few good ideas for cooking. So as far as my goals, I guess that's my next goal is to get some real content out on my channel. Get a real channel out there and be a real boy,
You could do that, Bruce. It's easier than you think. Once you get started, the next one flows and the next one flows. You'll be making videos. I started putting videos out a few years ago, and then I lost my channel, as Larry knows, and had to start all over from scratch because I made a big mistake. But I started over, and I have almost 4,000 subscribers. So you just keep at it every day if that's your goal, and it's really been healthy for me mentally and emotionally to make these videos when I teach people about eating properly, because I'm reinforcing it in myself. My short-term goal, believe it or not, was to stop drinking coffee a while back, and I did that. It was too easy. So my longer-term goals are to remain healthy. Like Larry said, I'm really confident I'm not going to acquire some diseases that other people will, because cancer feeds off of sugar mostly. I'm not putting sugar in my body. Inappropriate inflammation and oxidation in the body occurs from the standard American diet. I'm not eating that, so I'm not going to have that. I'm going to be as healthy as possible. That's a goal. And I have sounds like an unrealistic goal, but I have a goal to reach 120 years old. I do. And between now and then, the goal is to make sure that I'm as healthy as possible until that date or whatever date before it. But that's my optimistic outlook. And I really think I'm on track for it, because this way has proven to be so healthy. So my long-term goal also is to reach as many people as I can with my YouTube videos. And I'm getting feedback from comments from people I haven't heard before that I'm helping them. And they ask me questions and I answer, and it feels really good. I feel like if the friends and the family don't want to hear me, the strangers are listening to me and they're asking questions, which feels great. And I love this community.
That's awesome, you guys. You guys are all awesome, and I love doing these streams because it's very encouraging. I have a lot of goals. I've always been a goal type person, but something that I've always wanted to do since I was very, very little. Some of my earliest memories were of like dancing, and I would choreograph people and like get all the costumes out for my sisters and I, and like, okay, you're going to stand here, and we were like so creative. And I remember watching like Lawrence Welk, and the Nutcracker was one of my favorites. I loved ballet and all that kind of stuff. I always wanted to be like a dancer or performer of some kind. And I just like never saw a path forward for that for whatever reason in my life. And you kind of think like, well, that's something that, you need to join the circus or whatever. And unless you do that, then you can't really do anything. But it's something I've always kind of gone back to that at different points in my life, taken a class here or there. And, really over the last month or so, I kind of got this feeling like, you know what, like, who cares if I make money doing it? Who cares if I'm a professional performer, whatever? Like, that doesn't even matter. Like, I could actually do that now that I'm getting my health back, now that I have, I'm not suffering from all these things that I was for the last 20 years. And I have the room to work, to do more inner work, and to, work on myself and my character and become, the person that I want to be. Maybe I could, get back into doing some of that kind of stuff. So that's sort of like a side goal that I have now that actually seems attainable, versus, it kind of just being something that never felt that way before. So, among other things, that's something I don't think I've shared with anybody on here so far. So anyway, this was great. Thank you everybody on the panel for being here tonight. I think somebody had to drop off already, but and thanks everybody for being in the chat. You guys are all awesome as well. Thank you for sharing your insights and comments and stories too, and being supportive. This is always a great time. And so we will see you again in 2 weeks for another Carnivore Mastermind. I will leave everybody's channel handles in the description after this. So if you're not subscribed to anybody here, go share the love and make sure we're all keeping up with each other. And that's all I got. We'll see you in a couple weeks for another topic. Thanks everybody. And good night.
Bye.